pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First item to be approved the minutes of Monday, January 16th, as written.
I'll move. I'll second.
Steve moved, John seconded. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. Miscellaneous motions. Move to authorize and direct the vice chairman to sign 3 tax abatements in the amount of $651.10. The explanations are there. I've read them. It doesn't seem like anything out of normal.
I'd so move. I'll second.
Wage moved, Steve seconded. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. Move to authorize and direct the vice chairman to sign provision of legal services for ad valorem property tax judicial foreclosure with Glenda Osterman, LLC for the 2024 Coffee County tax sale.
This is something you always do, I assume.
Well, we hadn't had a tax sale in quite a while, so last June, and it was, I believe, Richard's goal to each year, just keep it caught up. So I believe that that's what this is. If you want to talk to Richard, we can. We can table this for later.
We talking about doing it every 2 years.
I thought he was just going to keep it every year, just keep things caught up. I don't. Maybe Mr. Bowie remembers.
I don't think there was one last year. The cycle sort of ran parallel with COVID. COVID delayed it, and by the time the last tax sale occurred, it was beyond when the tax sale was scheduled to occur. So I think we're in that same cycle. And just for Steve and Wade's knowledge, two different firms came in, did a presentation. I went out and solicited them to come in, and Glenda Osterman was selected because it does not cost the county anything to bring them on. They are paid through the foreclosure, the tax sale process itself. There's a legal fee that's included. So it ended up being, I think, for everybody a win-win, because that's what they do. They do it all across the state. They've done it for years and years, and it's sort of a highly specialized area where if it's not done right, you can create problems on the back end, because you have to send out legal notice in accordance with the law, and then if that's not done right and you sell property, then somebody can come back and undo what's been done. So Richard, he brought it up with me when he was originally wanting to reinitiate this process, and I don't have an issue with the 2 attorneys that work for Glenda Osterman. They know what they're doing. So that's the short, maybe the long answer for you.
That sounds like the thing to do then, to me.
I thought this tax sale was last year, when actually it was 2 years ago. So
I see.
This would be the every 2 years. So
I see. Okay.
Didn't seem like a year and a half already.
I know that's.
Yeah.
My mind was saying, oh, it was just last year.
That's what I thought.
It was 2 years.
Just last year, but
2 years.
It'd be 2 by the time we'd have.
Yep.
it went well.
Was there any reason we shouldn't go ahead, guys?
No, I think it's important to keep them caught up.
Yeah. Get properties taken care of.
Yep. So I'll make the motion.
I'm
I guess I can make a motion for myself to sign. Tom moved. Thompson seconded. Lee Johnson seconded. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. Thank you, Mr. Bowie.
Louis, thanks for the info. Yeah.
Well, complete those. So, Coffee County Transportation, you're up.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I just wanted to come up and tell you guys, kind of keep you guys informed of what's going on up there. We've made a few changes. I stepped down as the director last Wednesday. It's not a surprise. It was a temporary job. We just wanted to get some things together, or get with us together, get some things done, everybody learn the job and everything. Brittany Hawkins will be taking over. She's been up there 6 or 7 years. She's been running the day-to-day stuff anyway. I've just been kind of doing some of the commercial side of it and some of the other stuff that we have to deal with. It's always been in the plan. It's happened a little sooner than we thought it would because she's pretty quick. She learned a lot of stuff. It is good. It is good. And with the grant process we're going through and the budget cut we had last year, it's going to save us some money by doing this. We're going to realign some jobs for some people. And I think Brittany will do fine at it. She's pretty sharp. She knows what she's done it long enough. She knows the ins and outs of all of it. And so, any questions for her or me, whatever. Other than that, I think everything's going pretty good up there. Other than our insurance went through the roof.
I didn't, yeah, you didn't decide.
Ours went 40,000, what it was last year.
My goodness.
Yeah, so we've had to do some navigating some stuff, and I don't know where it's going to end. And there's a lot of reasons. Several reasons it went up, and I guess I'm giving you guys a warning because I know your guys' went up, and here at the county, part of our problem is the business we're in, and there's not too many companies that'll do it. Actually, that's why we had to switch companies, because our company decided we're done in general transportation, we're not going to do it anymore. Of course, cost of vehicles and some of the clients we haul is high risk. So anyway, we had put more in. I was thinking a worst case scenario, 15%, maybe 20%. I wasn't prepared for that, so we had to do some. We're good this year. We got it figured out for this year. So anyway, so this is Brittany. And
Don't need to welcome you aboard, but welcome to your new position.
Thank you.
yeah, I just wanted to make sure you guys
I've known
are aware
Mike
of it.
I've known Mike for years and years. I knew him when he kind of come in, but I didn't know you.
She'll do fine. She knows
Sounds
what
like
she's
the
doing.
transition will be good at that.
It is. It's
That is so important.
Yeah,
Switch.
and we wanted to make sure you guys were aware of this, because I didn't want you to get blindsided that we were gone.
Appreciate that.
It sounds like you're just trying to manage what funds you have.
We are.
Which is on, so.
We are.
Get the most out of it, sounds like, so good.
Yeah, we're better shape this year on vehicles than last year when I was in here.
Last year we talked about vehicles quite a bit, didn't we?
Yeah, and maintenance was terrible on us last year. We've got 3 new vehicles, 1 on the way, and we don't know what's coming in. Hopefully the state will order 2 more vans, and that'll completely rotate our fleet, so.
Are you fully staffed now?
So, yeah, yes and no. We are, but we're not. I mean, we got some guys and gals that work a couple days a week, some will work 3 or 4 days a week. It's kind of plug in, plug there, so. Anyway.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, that's all I had. I just wanted, like I said.
You didn't like have to twist her arm, it was just willing.
Yeah.
Willingly, you know, like that.
And she kicked me out the door. It's okay.
I'm done with you.
Yeah. No, it was easier for 2 of us to learn that job than it
Yes,
was one.
definitely.
So,
It was planned all along, but
yeah, it's a little sooner than we
yeah,
planned.
yeah.
Anytime you can promote within, 90% of the time that's a plus.
Yeah.
It's a huge plus, yes.
If he had to go up on the rates any to compensate for.
We haven't done anything there. There's some things we could do if the state will let us do it that sure would help our insurance, but they're kind of sticking their heads on it. So they don't want to talk about it, I don't think. So We haven't done that. I think that's a last resort. Because, you all know, everything's hard. People can't get to where they want, get what they want anymore, some of them. So, anyway.
Well, thanks for your time you served, and
Yeah. You bet.
good luck to you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you for updating us.
You bet.
Gonna go back to being a trooper?
No, I got some things planned. The trooper's not one of them. I don't know if they want me back.
So that may be the place.
Yeah.
Take care.
We'll see.
All right.
That's fine. That's fine. Yes?
Yeah.
And you said you had,
I'm sorry?
and you said you had something to share with us?
Yeah, I understand from viewing the videos that some of the property up near the meadows may come up for sale in the near future,
Uh-huh.
and was just interested on getting in the loop, I guess, or I had mentioned it, that they said maybe it'd be a good idea if I come down and just let you guys know that I might be interested in it.
I see.
So that's what I'm doing.
I see. Okay.
Picked a good day to do it on.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, really slick and
Well, I don't think we got to the end of how we're gonna quite approach this yet. You know, it's just 5 acres up there in the one area we're talking about selling, I should say. I think we're probably gonna do like sealed bids is what we're thinking now. But whether we're gonna divide it out into 2 or 3 or what,
That'll
haven't got
come-
there yet.
come
Haven't got
later.
there yet.
so that's just where I'm at. I didn't
Okay.
totally miss the boat.
Well, I'm sure it'll be advertised in the paper, there'll be some legal hoops we'll have to go through, so.
That's a normal process,
Yeah.
as you, and sealed bids, you said. probably.
I'm thinking
It's
that
kind of our
way.
first thought, we
Yeah.
haven't really said anything yet.
It's all new to me, and just reading about it,
Right.
and I thought, you know, it'd be good to just come down and talk to you guys and enlighten me a little more. So the timeline's gonna be down the road some.
Well, I believe I was supposed to go talk to Jimmy at the city and talk about getting that divided out, what that would take with snow and everything, and cold weather. I
Oh,
guess
yeah.
I just haven't.
Trying to get something moved along
As that,
fairly quick if we could.
There's some more discoveries gotta be done before we can,
I see.
move ahead too, so.
So as that comes along, you'll share that with
With the public, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, well, I really appreciate it.
Mhm.
Today's my birthday, so I'd share that with you. I about fell on the sidewalk out there, so I'll
Well,
probably go home and be safe.
yeah.
We appreciate you coming in and showing your interest, that's what it's all about, so.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Haven't quite got to that step yet.
Yeah, I understand. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sir, maybe to help give you a little bit of guidance and direction, there's a county resolution the board has to follow. Part of that, they get to select how they want to sell real property, so that can be by sealed bid, go through a fixed price, I mean, it's whatever they want to do. It's my understanding they're focusing on the sealed bid, which seems to be the most reasonable. Once they do that, then they will make a decision to formally announce through that resolution. That announcement will then require a notice to go to the legal paper for the county, which is the Coffee County Republican. And so I'm not sure if you pay attention or watch that way. It might also be something that will be added on the county website as well through the clerk's office. So
I'll do that.
it should be announced in a way where everybody will have sufficient notice. Those who are interested will have that ability. And then if you watched an example of the Waverly property, Sunset Manor, that process actually went through a realtor. There was one bid, it was a sealed bid, and the county went back and forth with that sealed bidder through the negotiation process, so that initial sealed bid did not get disclosed publicly, so that there wouldn't be a competitive advantage of somebody, if the county wasn't interested in that bid, or the counter offer that the county proposed, it just didn't go through, then somebody would know ahead of time, well, here's where it started and here's where the negotiation fell flat. So that competitive advantage is something that, nobody would wanna go and sell property and give somebody a heads up on what somebody else has did. So that's sort of why it's that sealed bid process, and it's a little different when you're dealing with county property, but there's a county resolution, I believe it's 910, if you wanna take a look at it. And it gives sort of the guidance and directions on how the commissioners will decide to sell the property.
Yeah, good. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
You safe going home?
I had something in it.
Or to your vehicle.
Everybody at the courthouse is 100% open and,
Yeah.
yeah, good. I will. Thanks.
Take care.
Adam, I assume you're taking Mr. Dirt's position today?
I am,
So,
that's why I'm not dressed to the nines.
you'll be fine.
My day started rather early today.
Imagine.
Very good.
Good morning.
Good
morning.
Just a little update. We, of course, are still dealing with weather, so
Yep.
had trucks out this morning at 4:30. Schools went ahead and I believe they all canceled. Just gravel roads are still, they're passable. There's some slick spots and this even made it worse, so pavement's starting to break now. We've got some salt down. We did have some blades running Saturday till about noon, widening out and try and take care of the wind switch out of the south. We've been fighting drifting from the north, and then we had 30-mile-an-hour winds out of the south, so that's kind of what Ryan and the blades did there Saturday. Other than that, I just have one motion, it looks like.
That's your annual pipe
Need this?
purchase.
Yeah, just various pipes.
This annual deal
Mm-hmm.
for the rest of them, so they know.
Generally do 2 orders a year.
So need a motion to approve Road and Bridge Superintendent's request to solicit formal bids and purchase various culvert pipes and end sections for the Blackberry transmission haul route. Funds to be paid from the Road and Bridge Fund and reimbursed at a later time.
So I'm gonna correct myself. I didn't read all that. This isn't to cover all of our normal biannual purchase.
Yeah,
This is the Blackberry.
Additional stuff.
Yeah, additional things that we have come up with that, through Blackberry that needed to be replaced. And of course it'll be reimbursed, so.
I knew that prior to reading that, but I do know that annually you guys do solicit
We do.
bids for pipes, so.
Yeah.
But I'll make a motion on this.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Motion passes 4-0.
That was easy. You guys got anything for me?
I guess you've got, visit with Jesse this morning, he said
Yeah.
you got a funeral coming up Wednesday.
So we,
at Key West Cemetery.
I talked to Steve and Tom.
Okay, well,
Well, this is last week.
This is last week.
For one in Waverly, we got it taken care of, and then Jesse called me this morning. We're gonna get up there tomorrow morning and get Key West up all 50 cleaned up so they can have a service Wednesday.
yeah, and I'm sure he didn't have me bring that up, question you, he just wanted to let,
Yeah.
that way it's talked about here, and let everybody know
Yeah.
that you guys are gonna take
And
care of that. So, yeah.
That's something we've always done, and like I told Steve the other day and Tom, we don't mind doing that at all, but I want you guys to be aware of it and okay it,
Sure.
so to be, so,
That way you'll get, when you get a question, you know what it's about.
yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
anything else?
I don't have something else.
Okay, well, I'll get back out and see how things are going.
Bring the temperature up about 5 or 6 degrees, that'd help,
Out tomorrow. This afternoon it's gonna be above freezing, and then the rest of the week hopefully.
Yeah.
All right, thank you guys.
Thank you, Adam.
Have a good day.
You too. So, discussion on recent fire board appointment.
The easiest way to do this is to put it up on the screen. Alright, so where we're gonna focus is Coffee County Resolution number 512C, and as you can see, that's a resolution reestablishing the Board of Trustees of Fire District 1, Coffee County, and placing the supervision of said fire district thereunder, and the statute that allows that. And that would have been, this is the entire resolution. We're not going to go through the entire resolution, but I'm going to jump to section 6, which basically, this is a resolution just like many other resolutions that establish sort of the boundaries and what's required for that board. And one of the, for example, here in section 3, it gives what powers that board has. So under A, authority to enter into contracts to acquire, operate, maintain firefighting equipment, and so on and so forth. I don't want to read through all of them. Where it becomes relevant for this discussion is in subsection 6, and it talks about how board members are appointed. And I'll just read through this since this is what we're focusing on. Board of Trustees shall be composed of 5 members, and they shall be filled as follows. The 5 members shall be chosen by the Board of County Commissioners from amongst the community with the following restrictions, and here's where we have to focus on the restrictions. 1, none of the appointed members shall be a member or auxiliary of any fire station of Fire District 1. 2, no more than 2 members shall be from the same county commission district, and no less than 4 members shall reside in different county commission districts. 3, in the event appointment of a member would result in 2 members residing in the same county commission district, the appointment of that member may only occur upon the recommendation of the commissioner, whose county commission district would not have a resident member as a result of that appointment. And 4, all members appointed must be a resident of Coffee County. So, if you look at sort of where we are, this is the focus on section 6. And if you look at the appointed boards, specifically now where we are with Coffee County Fire District Board on your appointed board sheet, you have, let's go through, and you have 5 members, so that's not an issue. You have, they're selected by the Board of County Commissioners, so that's not an issue. Now let's go under the restrictions. No member can be a member or auxiliary of Fire District number 1. Is that an issue? I don't believe it is from what I'm told. So far we're good. No more than 2 members from the same commission district. Okay. Now here's where you have two members from number 5 is what it looks like, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then the second part of that, and no less than 4 members shall reside in different commission districts. So I think you have one from 3, 4, 2, and 5. The only one you don't have is 1.
Correct.
Okay. So then go to the exception.
Well, we don't have 2 either.
Yeah, because Terry Croswell's in 5.
Yeah, 1 and 2.
But he represents 2, so I don't know what that really is.
Say that again.
Terry Trussell.
Terry Croswell's, west of Leroy is 5 miles, so he's in the 5 area. But down the representative district area, they've got him listed as District 2. But he does
He lives in 5.
5.
Represents 2.
And how that came about, wait, I don't know.
Well,
What about Royce Comer? Where's he at?
I knew he lives
He
in
lives
5.
in,
Okay.
Yeah.
so Bill Adams, he's in 2, right?
He lives in 2, and Danielle was from 1.
Right. But so is it still the only one you don't have representation from is 1? Because you have, although 2 is covering 1, you have 2 represented.
Well, by 1 from District 5, but
Sure.
no one in that district for 2, and no one in that district for 1 is what we have now. No one residing in District 2 to represent 2, no one residing in District 1 to represent District 1.
But we'll have Bill Adams living in 2. He's
Representing,
not representing that district, but
Yeah.
he lives in that district.
right.
But as far as this,
I don't know if that matters.
yeah,
so no more than 2 members from the same commission district and no less than 4 members shall reside in different commission districts. So,
we're safe.
well, at least it looks like right now you have 4 members residing in different commission districts, right?
Royce Comer is in 5, David Foster is in 4. I don't know about Todd.
Todd would be district is, yes,
Just
Third.
third, right.
So the bottom 3, I was starting from the bottom, come up, so the bottom 3
Oh, good.
are good, they do live in their district that they're representing. So when you get to Kerry Trussell, no, he lives in 5 representing 2, and Adams lives in 2 representing 1.
At what time were they assigned to represent a different district, what they were in?
I don't know,
Terry's been on there for
ever,
several years,
And I talked to them here.
long time.
long time.
Yeah, probably couldn't get anybody, I suppose.
But we've only got 2 out of their district, if you will, representing a district they don't live in.
But we do have a person living in District 2.
Yeah, I mean, I think the way it's worded, it says no less than 4 members shall reside in different commission districts. So where they reside, Adams lives in District 2,
Correct.
right? And then you have 3 covered, 4 covered, and 5 covered. You just have 2 from 5.
Yeah.
1 covers 5, 1 covers 2.
Yeah, the only one we don't have is District 1 that somebody's
Yeah.
not living in. So
So-
it looks to me.
So by the way this reads, I think you have that. No more than 2 members from same commission district, we'll get to that in a minute, and no less than 4 members shall reside in different commission districts. So we'll focus on right after the and, no less than 4 members shall reside in different commission districts. I think that's covered, although it's probably not as clean as you'd like it to be. So let's go back now to no more than 2 members from the same commission district. And this is if an appointment of a member would result in 2 members residing in the same commission district, which we have 2 from 5. The appointment may only occur upon the recommendation of the commissioner whose commission district would not have a resident member as a result of that appointment. And that would be number 1, right? So number one then falls back on Tom, right? And Tom would be the one who would have to make that recommendation.
Which I did.
And then all residents of the county. So I just it got brought to my attention, wanted to go through this analysis because that's the sort of the roadmap for what has to be followed. And in case someone wants to, I don't know who requests resolutions, just to go through them.
What would be the harm in just getting hold of Mr. Evans and telling him he'll be representing District 2 and get hold of Mr. Trossel and tell him he's gonna represent District 1, which I would approve that. I mean,
That sounds,
is that
It changes your appointment schedule,
true?
but
Yeah.
which I mean, that's not necessarily,
That's why I suggest you get a hold of Mr. Adams and get a hold of
Sure.
Mr. Trossel before you actually did that. But
Yep.
if that cleans it up and makes everybody more comfortable, I'm in favor of it, I guess.
I think it cleans it up as far as what this says, and then being able to, then you have two covering 2, 5 would be covering 1, you'd end up in the same place, but,
True.
I think if you do that, once you get their approval or agreement, then you need to come back and have a motion to sort of tweak it and clean it up.
I mean, if we don't have a problem the way it says, I don't have a problem leaving it the way it is either. But if it makes you more comfortable or whomever else that's questioning more comfortable.
I don't have an issue with leaving it the way it is. I mean, it would be cleaner to have 2 covering 2 since they're from 2. I understand why you're in the situation you're in. I don't remember, I think going through this analysis now, it wasn't readily apparent to me last week when that appointment was made. It was just a straight up appointment, and you just want to make sure that what you're doing is following what rules you have in place, and that's the main thing. So I think going through this analysis here, so if anybody wants to come back and say, well, the Board of County Commissioners isn't even following their own rules, I think this is a good exercise in seeing that that's done, and why, even though it's not as clear as you want it to be, it still covers what needs to be covered.
The wording in that up there, Ray, like, and no less than 4 members shall reside in different commission districts. I can't read that in my mind and make that make much sense. No more than
So it's giving,
what you just had on the screen up there before.
so here's the,
You read that and see if I'm reading it wrong. No more than 2 members shall be from the same county commission district. I understand that part. And no less than 5 members shall reside. Then 4 members shall reside in different county districts. That's not.
so it's giving you, if you have 5 total, you have to have 4 that live in different districts, so it gives you the
Maybe I'm
latitude.
not reading it right. Okay, all right, I get it now.
All these other boards are at large.
So,
And the fire one is district by resolution. I mean, again, I don't have a problem leaving it the way it is, or reaching out to each of the board members to see if they wanna switch
Right.
districts. But by the same token, what would it hurt for them to be at large? I mean, can you make a resolution to just switch it
We'd have to go back, cause this one is
by
established.
district?
By-
Just at large, is, you go to the hospital, it's at large, libraries at large, planning boards at large, housing authorities at large.
We'd have to go back and look at the statute here because it's established.
Some people out in the county might wanna keep it by district. I mean, like our hospital and stuff, that's at that location where the fire services are provided to different areas in the county.
That makes sense.
I
Well,
mean,
so's the library, I mean, each city's got their own
Right,
library,
right.
but it's still at large.
Yeah. But I mean, that would be the only reason I would see that, you know, people might like the
Yeah.
individual representation where possible.
Makes sense. So I guess it's up to us whether you prefer having one of us reach out to Trostle and one of us reach out to Adams.
Yeah, in the scheme of things, it's not going to change anything because they're still going to do the representation, I mean, they're still going to represent them.
Right, right.
Well, Trostle would be the only one not living in the district he's representing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then
and he does.
Trossell's,
And he
that
does.
would put his term up at the end of this year as opposed to next year. And then, which puts Adams in there for 2 more years as opposed to 1.
Yeah, and Drossel's not representing the district he lives in already, so.
Correct. I mean, we can leave it alone,
Yeah.
because we're within our guidelines. The way I'm understanding it, you can correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I mean, ideally you'd have 2 representing 2, but he just came on, so that
Correct.
wasn't the case. You had part of this situation that existed even before this most recent appointment. It just, I think at the time wasn't caught.
Is there an issue, Wade, is there a problem that was presented to you? I mean, is this it? Apparently there was an issue.
I think it was brought to my attention what this language was, and just in case somebody wanted to come through and say, well, the county didn't even follow their own resolution, it followed, there's an analysis now that's on the World Wide Web for somebody to come and say something, but I think it's covered, and you made the recommendation, it was your district, so I think it's taken care of and addressed. I don't remember.
I really didn't realize that it was by district, I guess, at the time, with all the other boards being at large. And like I say, Bill's been involved in the fire department for years.
Yes.
He's not doing anything new now, so it's not a conflict, so he'd be a perfect fit for the board. I do believe.
Right. Sure sounds like it.
So
And that was from your recommendation, so we are covered just the way we are.
I'm not sure if any needs to change it, if it
Yeah,
does, if it fits the resolution we currently have.
I just didn't remember the recommendation part, so.
Yeah, Danielle spoke to me prior to that meeting and said who she was gonna recommend to take her spot. So
Okay.
she did a lot of groundwork to make sure when she stepped down, that position was filled immediately. So I'd say I thought he was a good fit.
Sounds like it.
I think that covers it then.
Good.
Yeah, if you're good with it.
Yep. I just wanted it to be
Okay.
on the radar.
What we wanna do, yeah.
So, I don't think anything needs to happen. It's been discussed. Somebody can come back and watch and see how it all plays out.
Sounds
That's
good.
what we want.
You gotta have cost of living done sooner as opposed to later, don't you?
Well, if it's gonna start for January, yeah, we'll need it today.
Well, even with Jesse's absence here, we probably ought to discuss it then. So, it's on our agenda, I mean, we can take a short break if you want and come back.
Is Jesse coming in, or for sure?
He's not gonna be in.
Or he wasn't?
He said he might, he might, but probably not.
He texted me and said he won't.
When I was saying, I talked to him about 8 o'clock, see what we were gonna be doing this morning. At that time, he was planning on coming in, but
I think somewhere in the middle of that, he changed his mind.
Yeah, okay. So you want a short break?
That'd be great.
10-minute break at 9:41 to 9:53. Trying to stay prompt here. We are back, this would be, next on the agenda is discussion of cost of living. Now, some of you who talked about across the board, in favor of that, some aren't, so let's start it off that way.
I'm in favor of what, and Wade brought it up, that he felt like we should just go across the board. And the more I thought about it, I believe that that's the correct way to go. I think it probably would cause less problems with everyone.
Doing so much per hour.
So much per hour,
versus
right, versus
percentage.
a percentage.
Correct me if I'm wrong, our steps, their percentage, is that how the steps work?
Yeah.
I did.
So, you know, people with the higher salary end are gonna get a, you know,
That's correct.
a percentage
Of the,
raise
Right.
when we come to steps time. And I'm not, I guess maybe I would be receptive, possibly to swinging it back and forth. One year do one thing and one do the other, but I just feel like our people on the bottom of the scale have, and I know then we'll go back to the argument of, well, this guy should be eating bologna and this guy's entitled to eat steak, so he'd ought to keep eating his steak. But I think we need to, it's a cost of living, and everybody's cost of living.
Is the same.
Auto insurance,
Right.
there, all of these different costs, I just feel it's a lot more fair. That's my opinion.
and it's 2,080 hours, correct, Angie, in this year already?
Well, I think we have 2 personal days this year, and one's designated
Oh.
Christmas Eve. No, I mean, they are paid 80 hours.
Yeah, 2080 hours.
Yeah,
So,
that's the normal.
And referring back to the sheet that has been given to us every year, starting in 2010, there's been a percentage increase all the way through 2019. And for that period of time, our employees have picked up an extra 6.35% above what the CPI was. And at the end of that period of time, it also received a 1.5% increase in steps. So technically, for that 9-year period, or 10, whatever you want to call it, our employees have received a 19% increase in salary above CPI, 19.85. But you take a look at the next 4 years, the total CPI for 13 years is actually up 31.4, and the actual wage increase was 30.5, because there's 3 years in there where we didn't quite keep up with the CPI, so you, for that 13-year period, the wage increase kind of fell back down to what the CPI was, but in that period of 13 years, our employees had received 19.5% on a step increase. I mean, there's so many different ways of working with wages. It is totally unreal.
Right.
And I agree with what Wade has already said. I know 4 years ago, well, 2020, we didn't do anything on an increase other than the step increase to our employees. So that's 1 year we backed up a little bit when the CPI was actually 2.3.
2.3.
And then the next year we went 30 cents when the CPI was 7.5. So that's where we dropped back quite a bit. And then in 22, we went to 75 cents when the CPI was 6%. But up until 2020, the county had always done a percentage. And I don't like that continued gap getting wider myself. I know when we finally made a decision to go to just a straight increase at so many cents an hour or whatever it may be, I made a comment then that I think we really need to be fair to more of our employees is go so many cents an hour, whether it's 40 cents, 60 cents, $1, whatever it may be. But maybe like, and Steve just got this thing of Steve, that, or maybe wait, every 2 or 3 years, do a percentage. That's a comment I made 3 years ago, I think. You know, I prefer so many cents an hour, but maybe we ought to do a percentage every other year, every 2 years, every
third year, whatever it is.
I think that kind of reaches a compromise a little bit. If we go 60 cents an hour, you know, it's a little over $1,000 per employee.
Be 1248.
1248,
Yeah.
which is cost the county $190,000. If we do 80 cents, it's a quart.
Well, if you do 70 cents, it's 1,400.
You went in between what I was going.
Right,
Cost the
I
county.
went 50, 60, and 70 just to see what
Yeah.
the cost would be.
Every
On 70 cents an hour, it increased $1,456 a year,
so we went
which,
75 cents here a year ago.
right,
Because last year we did go back to the percentage of 6%. Every time we move, it costs the county $38,824, and that includes the salary employees. And I absolutely am totally aware we need to keep our employees. We got a great set of employees. We got, in my opinion, we got a good set of employees, so we need to do everything we can to keep. And what it takes to keep, I don't know where that magic figure is. Can't think what I want to say. Our benefit program, you know, I think is second to none
Yes.
with what we provide for our employees. You know, the hospitalization and step increase, whether you want to call that a benefit or not, to me, it's probably a benefit. Most employers don't have something like that. So, you know, I'm probably looking somewhere in that 60, 80 cents.
that's what I'd be looking at, and but I do think we need to, I guess personally, I go back to what Wade said, the other day. I think we need to go back to that dollars per hour, cents per hour, and that'll keep it, that'll just keep it, everybody's got the same cost of living.
I mean, I understand the argument that this group up here is living at a different level, and some of those things that they're enjoying, those went up too. I mean, I get that argument, but we go go back to that they're gonna get a percentage raise on the step that's gonna be larger than,
Right.
than what the people on the bottom are too. You know,
Well, I don't like to go back too much to history, because every company in all histories change and change and change, but I know when I was at the elevator, I was there 36 years, and I was drawing a higher salary than all the other employees by being the manager. We never once done a percentage. I didn't feel comfortable giving, of course, mine had to go through the board since I was manager.
Right.
I didn't feel comfortable with taking, you know, an extra 5% salary compared to my employees that
On the bottom
maybe
side.
they got 5 and I got an extra 5. I don't feel comfortable with that.
Yeah.
And that was being a supervisor. And I know some supervisors don't like that particular attitude, but that's the position I've had all my life.
right.
And I realize there's some give and takes, and there's some discussion about it.
Well, we all know the difficulty of hiring new quality people.
Yeah.
We get,
And as Dawn said before, our workforce, I feel we've got a very good one for the size of the group of people we got. It's a good group, and we're gonna have to work harder to retain them, is what my opinion is, especially if other things come down the pipe.
Yeah.
And, so I wanna do what we can for them, and obviously our taxpayers are struggling too. So,
Correct.
it's our job not to get carried away, but
Right.
yet, somebody's gotta have the people to operate the county.
we're representing both sides of it technically.
That's correct, yeah.
And we gotta be fair to employers and then fair to our
Well, and
citizens out there that's paying the bill for everybody.
Right.
you know, the CPI ended up at 3.2, but it started out at 6. I mean, it ended up at
Yeah.
3.2, but
Right.
throughout the year, it was considerably higher. And the same
Right.
way, on the 6% that we did last year.
Yeah.
It started out at 9.3, and then it ended up at the 6%, but,
Yeah.
and I realize that we go by the last number.
Right, right. I'm sure that figure's accurate, but it seems, for the cost of groceries and everything, it seems hard for me to believe that it's not higher than that.
Well, I guess that's what,
And what vehicle insurance and
Yeah.
everything else is done, house insurance, it seems hard for me to believe it's not higher than 3.2.
Yeah, I don't know how they arrive at that CPI, how many numbers fall into that calculation. I would have no idea.
I'm listening.
what numbers were you looking at?
I'm the one that got it off Dead Center last year, so.
Mr. Vice President, I'm going to move that we increase our salary for our employees, hourly salary at 80 cents an hour,
I'd second that.
and our salaried employees equal that would be $1,664.
Tom's made a motion for 80 cents, is that correct?
80 cents an hour,
80 cents an hour,
and
salaried employees, $1,664.
16 and 2, and we haven't talked about the commissioners. Last year, I think, that wasn't last year, the year before, I moved to continue our commission's wages at 30,000. and we haven't discussed that, so maybe we should have discussed it before it was. I know we're spending a lot more hours now than we was here a number of years ago, but if nobody had any objection, I'd probably continue that for one more year.
I would like to just stay the course.
I'm sorry.
I'd like to say, just stay the course on the
Yeah.
commissioners.
I think I'm gonna make, the third part of that motion is to keep our commission's wages at the rate of $30,000 a year, even though we're probably spending 2-3 times more time than it was, 2 years ago. But that's gonna be money well, that'll come back to really be a huge plus for us down the road. Hopefully it will.
So the motion is to, your motion is to do an 80 cent an hour
80
for
cent.
the
Early.
hourly people and $1,664 for the salary, which is equal to that.
And keep the commission wage at.
That's at the same.
Angie's just about got it typed up here, so I'll read it when she's good.
Okay, let me just take another look at it here.
Looks correct to me. So, Lisa's made a motion to approve cost of living increases for hourly employees to 80 cents per hour, salary employees $1,664 per year, to keep the commission wages at the same of $30,000 per year.
I second that.
Mr. Thompson seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes 4-0. So we be...
I got this just coming in. Take a look at that. Short and sweet little letter for a grant for the hospital.
Is it one that's similar to what we've done years past, or is this a new?
This is something new, I think.
Who does their grant writing out there?
I'm gonna guess Jobin, I got the request from their
Probably a
secretary.
combination of 2 or 3 of them. right?
Yeah.
Be kind of nice to know what area that falls under, which it says everything is CHS owns. Be nice to know the dollar amount that they're going after.
I could, when I send that, I could ask them, they could share that with us.
It'd be nice to just share that with us, so.
So the motion is to authorize and direct Vice Chairman to sign the application for a grant letter for Coffee County Hospital.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Steve's moved on, seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 4-1. And then you got,
Oh, okay.
sorry, we passed it around so everybody could read it.
All right.
I should have just said pass it back, sorry. This is the one that's on it.
Yes.
Okay. Like a few special issue checks. Other than that, from roundtable. You always take the lead.
The, cost of living increase, that will change the,
Correct, and I will get that changed also.
and the main reason I'm interested is, so if there's somebody comes in and wants to know what the starting wage would be for a custodian, it's changed now.
You know, Angie, there's a huge amount of entries into that scale that Wade just talked about. Can you just plug in the 80 cents and it'll go straight across the whole thing?
It
And
will,
then 1.5, do the same thing, it'll plug in, you don't have to enter everything
right, I do it per section.
per section.
So there's a formula that you do.
Yeah, I have a formula set in there.
I was hoping that'd be, you'd be able to, this simple.
Yeah.
Did we just do one of that? That's a different individual. We just wrote one 2 months ago.
Yeah, it's probably different individual, because, let me see, it's back in, sorry, it didn't. Circle on the right, hold on. I can look it up if you want me to see who the one was before, oh, it would have been, wasn't it Jim New? Okay, I can look it up.
Well, it could have been, and I don't remember. I just,
I think it was,
is
but
that
let me pull it up.
something, I mean, the dollar amount's kind of confusing, it's something we normally do.
If they have a memorial, we generally do that instead of sending a plant or flowers. If they have it listed, otherwise we do a plant or flowers.
Okay.
The dollar amount that we give was 100.5 versus
Yeah.
100.5. Kenny. Dennis Spencer. No.
I know who he is.
Start.
Topic number one, I guess what's commonly known as the smoke shack that was directly behind the Sally Port for the jail has been moved to right outside the West Doors. Tom Johnson and I had a discussion, and Jesse was contacted about his opinion. He wasn't willing to make a decision without the board, but a decision had to be made because they were putting in fence and it was gonna be locked in. So, at least for right now, the decision was made, and I'll take the lashing for it if it wasn't the right decision, but to put it to the west until a better decision, because I don't know where else it can go. And it's basically a enclosed metal canopy for either people to go out and just hang out. There's a picnic table under it, or to exercise their right to put tobacco in their lungs. Those kind of things. It was bolted down up where it was before. It's not bolted down now because obviously there hasn't been approval by this board to make that decision. But why it was important, I mean, it had to be lifted and carried with a road and bridge on a forklift or something to put it even where it is before they locked in the fencing. So if it needs to move, then that's fine. there's no other location that, adjacent to the courthouse that makes sense. So if the board decides that's not where it should be, then it'll likely need to be taken apart and taken either to the sheriff's annex or somewhere else to store. So I wanted to bring that up. I don't have any good ideas.
It's moved inside of the fence now,
It's inside of the fence.
but it's out of their way.
Yes.
So, okay,
Yep.
Yeah,
I don't see the problem.
I don't see any problem.
Okay.
As long as everybody's comfortable, I'm happy as heck.
Okay.
It's not bothering construction, and it's not
Sounds
bothering
like
people
it
that
was-
use it. that-
Yeah, it
So
sounds
the-
like a decision needed to be made and you did it, and that's good. If you're
So-
comfortable, why?
Are people still gonna be able to access it then, or?
Yes. So, so the fence is up around the perimeter of the construction site, and going into the sheriff's office, the sidewalk is still open,
Okay.
and it may provide shelter, whether it be right now or sometime in the future when it warms up, from, I mean, the traffic is still there for people who get booked into jail, and then they have to bond out, whether family comes to see them and visit them in jail, or a bondsman comes in person to bond them out. A lot of people will utilize, or were utilizing, the picnic table that wasn't covered, because they didn't want to sit inside the sheriff's office now. With the temperatures the way they are, you probably won't have as much traffic, but I think it'll be utilized a whole lot more in the spring. One question, and I don't know the answer to it, I don't know how much that thing weighs, but let's say there's some sort of storm that comes through with heavy winds, I don't know if it has the ability to lift that thing up and throw it into the side of the building. I hope that's not.
We gotta
Is
wait.
it spiked down tall?
It isn't, because
It's just a straight metal building, isn't it?
Well, it is, but it was anchored to the ground.
Because the wind would move that real quick.
No, it was anchored to the ground in four to six different places where it was, but I think I'd already pushed my ability to make a decision to put it where it is. So if you want to anchor to the ground, then I think that would be something you would need to decide, but I wasn't going to make that decision.
It'd be advisable, it's better than like an umbrella.
Before it gets tossed into the side of the building,
Yeah.
or side of the building downtown or something.
To me, it ought to be spiked down.
Yep. I would agree, but I didn't feel I had that authority to make that decision.
I agree, it probably needs to be secured somehow.
The consensus sounds like,
And at some point in time, Tom and I have talked about it, but with all the concrete that's being replaced with the new building, I think the conversation was all the concrete walking out the west doors, going to the new concrete, potentially might need to be looked at to be replaced as well. Isn't that a fair?
Yeah, 'cause you got some control joints there that, it's just a common occurrence with saw cuts and concrete. The moisture gets in there, it freezes, expands, chips it out. And so, I don't know how many years that's been, or it's been many, many years, I don't know, 15 or 20.
it's showing its age in spots, I think, after.
Just in the control joints, the rest of it seems satisfactory.
It'd be better probably for it also, but if a guy didn't, he could pin it, it wouldn't move quite as much, but.
It could potentially be something that has a add-on to the construction side for the court side. Could be potentially looked at too.
True.
Because part of that,
Well, my thinking is with pouring on new concrete from the end of that out, if you will, it'd be so much easier just to do it while they're doing it.
Yes.
They can pour it, work their way out, instead of going back across fresh concrete or new concrete, if you will, to replace
Yeah.
old concrete, was always my philosophy, but
Do you have any guesstimate what that might cost?
less than $1 million.
It wouldn't be,
That's all it takes.
it wouldn't be excessive.
No, I don't know, what is it, maybe 40 by 100?
I don't think it's a, yeah, that's
Maybe
4,000.
30, 40,000 dollar deal maybe at best.
Well, I just,
I mean,
think it's gonna look kinda odd if we got this whole new project and got, and we're adding on, ended up tying on to the courtroom and everything too, that everybody knows I hate spending money, but it's probably the time to spend it, you know.
Well, you're
When
just
they're-
prolonging the inevitable out there, like I say, if you walk out there after this meeting, and look at some of those control units, I'll say again, it's just, they're just getting bigger and bigger and bigger, creating trip hazards, so.
Yeah. I would think it'd be the time to do it, but.
It's another change of order.
It won't be a huge one, like I say. I'd have to go out and measure it, but maybe 40,000, I don't know.
I doubt it's run.
It ain't much over 100 foot long, is it?
I'm not sure.
I don't think so.
What's left out
I don't think
Yeah.
it's 100 foot.
I don't think it's quite 100.
I'll be close.
Yeah, probably not lacking much.
You know, that's from home plate to first base is 90, I don't think, it don't make any difference, I don't think it's quite.
I'm thinking 2 semi-trailers is what I'm thinking, Don. You're
Yeah.
thinking home base to first place.
80 foot. Lots of different ideas.
Visualizing our distances.
Yeah, in the scope of things, it's kinda not gonna be an astronomical amount. So that's,
Yeah.
and again, my philosophy on it was, you know, they've gotta pour all new concrete from the end of that out to the street, so just
Start it back there.
start it the other way, go, but it's however you,
If they don't end up finding part of the old courthouse or the jail where they have $70,000 of contingency funds, then that may be,
Have some money there, maybe.
that may be something to look into.
not like we're gonna have to make that decision right away, because that'll be a next year type thing by the time they get to that point, but it'll be late in the year. At the earliest, first and next.
Something to be thinking about.
Yep.
Staying on the west side of the building, the 2 large planters and then the concrete cylinders that were attached to them with, as I had brought up last week or the week before, I don't remember when it was now, to create some sort of identification over in the new parking lot that you probably don't want to drive through the middle because there's a curb there. We were able to get the cylinders moved over to the new parking lot, and they're both sitting at the end of each side of the middle, if that makes sense.
Right.
So you might take a look at that and see if that meets your approval, or if you want something different. The other thing that could also be done is to take the 2 planters and put them on the inside, and then just have that whole thing covered up. So
When I pulled in there this morning, the only spot on the north side of that center aisle, that first, I think Dawn was parked in the second spot, where that pillar is at, if you're coming from this way, it'd be kinda hard to park into that first slot. If that pillar could be moved over a little bit further to the east and a little, you know, just on the other side of that curve, it would give a person room to turn into that first spot, but somebody else needs to look at it and see what they think, but I just didn't notice that, but except that was the only spot left where you didn't have room to swing over into the other parking place.
Pretty quick turn.
Yeah, you'd be,
I thought they were a little close to the,
yeah, I think it'd be a little further east or even a little further closer together, you know.
any thoughts on the big planters? I mean, I don't know if they need to stay where they are, if they need to move, or you wanna wait and see.
Just slide them back this way, can't you?
Yeah, they're already moved that way. Okay.
I think the guys just get them moved out of the road, which they probably already are, and at the time everything's finished, select the spot to put them. Don't make any difference to me.
Okay.
Anything else?
I was hoping we'd have a full board, but even with not having a full board, I'm thinking about whether I can wait. I think I at least need to request a 15-minute executive session under the attorney-client exception to the Kansas Open Meetings Act, and this is to provide legal advice related to county policy.
Motion to go into executive session, as Wade had stated.
I'll move
I'll second that.
for 15 minutes.
Board and County Council.
Yes.
Steve moved, Wade Thompson seconded it. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
We will go in at 10:28, 15 minutes. 10:28 by that clock. Mine's a minute off, so. No action taken.
I think for
Those in yellow.
Like I said, no action taken. You got anything else for us, Wade?
not for today.
Steve?
No, not really. We had a department head meeting the other day, and I think, well, I'll let Angie follow with that. I thought the discussion went well, so I'll let you follow up on that.
Do you want me to do that now? or-
Go ahead.
Yeah, so we had the department head meeting and discussed a few different topics, one of which was the Time Clock Plus going live tomorrow. We've been working with departments still, making sure everything's going and working, or if it's not, we're getting it fixed. I think everybody understands that we need to start, no matter whether we start today or we start 3 months from now, because if we don't start, we're gonna be right where we are today, 3 months from now. We're gonna keep running paper with it, side by side, so if there are some issues, we still have our paper, but we've got to just get going. We're just spinning our wheels, staying where we're at if we don't start. So, anyway, here's to good luck.
It just felt like there's, in a general way, that all the department heads had been working with this for some time, and they realize that there's still glitches in it, but that can be fixed.
Kind of gotta be broke before you can fix it.
Yeah, right,
It's the only
right.
way it can be done till it's tried.
Yeah, we have
Right,
to
and
start.
so the general consensus was the 23rd was a good date, and that's what everyone pushed for, so
Good.
it was a good conversation.
Good.
That's all I've got.
Don?
This form that was, I think, given to us last week and here this week, what's this form for?
This is the,
How many altogether, what?
transient guest tax that's
Yeah.
collected. There are some Airbnbs on there, hotels. that's what's being collected right now. You guys had discussed that last week
Yeah.
on if we needed to add any to things like that, and we already are collecting for some of that, so
So it makes me wonder just how these individuals, I mean, these aren't the only ones around.
yeah, from what I understood is that the state does the collecting on that and then they distribute it.
Oh, I see, okay.
So I guess if we just watch it for a little bit.
So they actually certified their business with the state.
They have to, yeah. And then
Okay.
the state submits money to us. This is a report actually from the state
Okay,
to, the treasurer's office, so.
okay.
Why?
Because I was curious as to how that was gonna be, if you will, regulated or policed, if you will.
Yeah.
So it sounds like as long as they start an Airbnb or a VRBO, whatever, and they register with the state, then it's kinda already done.
Should be.
Okay.
You know, we got a lot of hotels in Hamlet's, not Owen Garden and around, why aren't they using, I guess I'm still not quite following everything, but why aren't those hotels mentioned here versus Austin and San Francisco?
Well,
Oh, go ahead, go ahead.
I understand what's going on here. These are Airbnbs in our county. They're in our county.
And they're
They-
owned.
They exist in our county. This has nothing to do with any other county. So the entity, and correct me if I'm wrong, Angie, because as soon as I saw this, I was like, the hell? But it took me a minute. So the entities that own this, let's say HomeAway.com Incorporated or whatever, they're based out of Austin, Texas. So evidently they have 3 properties here in Coffee County
And with that,
that are registered, and then when you go down to the Airbnb one, they have 3 properties in Coffee County. It'd be nice if we knew the address of those, but I guess we're fine.
I didn't even think about it being that way.
But so, sounds like as long as they're registered with the state, then the state kind of regulates it and sends the money to us, so, which will go into our, tourism fund, so. I'm fine.
Yeah, there are other things in the county though, other than these, and I don't know whether they fall under this category or not, but.
I know there was a few that just started up this last fall, I think, and so they may not show up until sometime this year.
Yeah.
Maybe.
That's what I didn't know, if they, say if you're a hunting lodge or whatever, if those were required to register or how they would be picked up if they weren't registered.
I would think if you're a legit Airbnb or VRBO or a hunting lodge, whatever, you registered with the state, it would be,
You would think.
I would think so.
There's just, I mean, I don't know where all these are at, but I know some that are locally owned, but they're not on the list.
They're not there.
I could try to,
I just didn't think of it being that way, so.
I could try to reach out to somebody there also and see if I can dig a little bit more information out of them maybe.
Well, it'd be nice if the addresses were on these, but these aren't the ones I'm thinking of, so.
I'll see if I can,
Well, like I say, they're legit businesses, because they evidently got a federal ID number, a taxpayer identification number, and all the necessary requirements here, so.
Yes.
As long as they go through those procedures, it sounds like you get registered with the state, and that's how we
Right.
know. Sorry, John.
No problem, I didn't understand what was on the sheet.
I kept looking at numbers like, why the hell we worried about Texas and San Francisco? No. Oh,
Yeah.
Tony? Anything else?
No.
I don't have anything from.
Anything else, Angie?
I have a couple things. This coming Wednesday is local government day, if any of you are interested in attending. It's from 1 to 7 at the KAC office and the Beacon. I think I brought it up to you a couple weeks ago, but, just a reminder, if you're interested in attending Local Government Day, Wednesday, January 24th, from 1 to 7, at the KAC office and the Beacon. I can give you a copy of this if you'd like.
I cannot attend.
Okay.
I can't even.
Okay.
We got two of those things going on, maybe three, so
Okay. Well,
I
I
better
just wanted to
pass
make
for-
sure
I better
you were
pass for
aware.
Appreciate that.
If you can, you can. If you can't, you can't. So, another thing that we discussed at the department head meeting was the, Southeast Kansas District meeting coming up in April. Everybody's been made aware, people are signing up for things to do to help get things prepared for that. The only thing I need to do now is, I guess, put out for bids for the lunch. I don't really have a head count yet. I should by February, but I wondered if you guys had a menu you want me to go with.
where will that dinner be held at?
4-H
Oh,
building.
that's right, I'm sorry. Cause
And-
they could be 100 people here.
I think last time we planned for about 200.
Or was it as much as 200?
Yeah, we may not have had 200, but I think we had,
Just plan for it.
And what's the date for that, Angie?
it'd be April 18th, I believe. Let me just double check my calendar. Yeah, Thursday, April 18th.
April 18th, well,
So, yeah, I just need to figure out a menu, if you guys have any thoughts on that. We don't have to figure it out today, but if you want to think about it, maybe next week I can start getting something out to contact people for, or unless you want me just to pick somebody and go with it. But I know we have several that might want to maybe put a bid in on it, I don't know.
That'd probably be the best, I suppose.
Yeah, probably.
Well, county and menu, so everybody knows what they're bidding.
Right. But we can talk about that next week.
Yep.
I had Casey in my office help come up with an idea for a theme for this meeting. Last time it was based on wellness. And so we presented a draft program of a theme. And Casey thought that I give her credit because she's the one that had the creative mind on that. And I gave it to all the department heads and they agreed. They thought it was a great idea, but shaping our future because of the jail project going on, the CHIPS thing. So we're going to try to roll with that, it sounds like.
Sounds like a good one. Sounds good.
And we figured that because of the lack of parking around during that time, there's going to be a lot of construction, that we would have everyone check in at Kelly Hall. And I've been in contact with the superintendent, Craig Marshall, to see if we could bus people up here for meetings. And so I think we may be able to arrange that. And then lastly, what I need to know from you guys is for your meeting, in the past, you have gone on a tour at Wolf Creek. I don't know if you did it both times. I can't remember. But be thinking of what maybe you would like to do with commissioners, if anything, or if you just want to have a meeting here or down at the Kelly Hall or what, I don't know. But so kind of ponder that maybe in the next week or two, and that way if I need to, maybe touring EMP Shields might be a good thing to do.
Immediately remind me, that was the CHIPS thing and more discussion on that, and emphasis on that.
That would be interesting, something
Some sort of
different.
a presentation about the project itself, but it'd be nice to know everything's carved in stone where we could have a drawing of the site plan and kind of just presentation on it alone.
Maybe, yeah.
Would be good, I think.
Who would you invite in to make a presentation on that?
Well, I was thinking, you know how you, and this was, as he's got his mind going, mine's going too, but you know when EMP Shields had the governor down for the, I was thinking if they would be okay with that, you could maybe take them through there and
Makes sense.
as an idea, something different. Everybody knows we've had Wolf Creek, and yeah, there might be new commissioners, but this is something different and new.
Different, brand new.
Yeah.
So I
Sounds
could,
good. That sounds good.
I could check with them and see if they would be open that day to do something like that maybe.
To take some tours.
Uh-huh.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
And then maybe in that, they would be able to
Right.
kind of bring up that too about the video.
Could general public transportation help out with that too, maybe, or?
Yeah,
Are they
possibly.
pretty busy with other buses?
I don't know, I'd have to check with them, but, we'll see what we can do on that, and then maybe, maybe they could help with that too. And I know, don't they have some buses down there at EMP?
No, I don't know.
Cause I remember
don't-
riding
I
in
don't think so.
Yeah, we rode in some like 18-passenger van or
Yeah.
something. What we did.
What's the time frame of that? That from what,
it's,
like 9 o'clock to 2?
meetings start at 10 generally, and then they'll go till 11:30.
Yeah, finish up with.
Yeah.
And that's the 18th of April.
Uh-huh.
They don't give you much.
Well, that's inside.
see, okay. Don't? Nothing, do you?
So, anyway.
Yeah. I think
And,
I like the spending money.
Actually, I'm giving you money, I'm just wasting
We should
time.
have
Oh.
100% by then, so we could really
yeah,
spend some time on it.
sure. So, be thinking of the lunch menu, and,
So
I'll get,
on the lunch menu, brisket's really good.
Anything but pulled pork.
Yeah. The brisket thing sounds, to me, really good, but it makes good sandwiches. But I don't care whether it's beef or chicken or something simple.
Turkey.
What'd you say, Mark?
Yeah, you
Turkey.
Don't want to get into that discussion.
Anything but pulled pork.
Are we gonna give gifts away from businesses throughout the city or throughout the county?
we're trying to figure out how we should do that,
Most of those
and,
events, they did have gifts giveaway. The last couple I've been to, you know, had 30 different gifts from throughout their particular county,
yeah.
or throughout their city.
Yeah, so that's something that you guys would need to help me figure out how you wanna do on, what you wanna do on that too. So,
Yeah.
we're reaching out to vendors to see if any of them want to like donate donuts or water or whatever. We did get notice that Evergy wants to purchase the lunch, so.
Take care of it.
Well, that definitely is.
Very good steak.
So, but yeah, so we're trying to reach out to vendors around and.
I'd reach out to EV Sports and, JC,
Okay,
for sure.
the JC.
JC.
Oh, JC, yeah,
And as you said, the meetings would start at 10 and run to
11:30.
11:30.
And then lunch usually starts about noon. And then we'll need, a presentation. We wanna do like a, recognize veterans, I think we've done that in the past. And then we have a program of some sort, so if you know of anyone, any type of program.
They normally have a speaker there, most of the time, 10 minutes it's done.
Yeah, it's
I
pretty
don't know.
quick. But they'll sometimes bring in like the high school students to sing or something, or
They didn't
for entertainment. So I guess think about that too.
Yeah.
10 minutes for a short time to get very much done.
Yeah,
But has been their schedule.
and usually it's over by around 1:30, 2 o'clock. So people head back. And I think that's all I have, other than we'll get the salary chart updated with the cost of living increases and the salary chart for salaried individuals also, so
Okay.
that's it.
Did you have something you wish to share with us?
No, I'm over in the treasurer's office, thought I'd come.
Oh, you're gonna take us all to lunch?
do that.
What's that?
We gotta take the press with us. We might talk about county government. Violated the open meeting law.
Yeah, that's true, okay.
We ain't done that, and we're not going to.
I doubt that. I don't have anything for roundtable other than I did whiff it another week, it's just kinda like the years are flying by, and I could've swore to you, last year we did a tax sale, and it was, in fact, the year before, so, yeah.
I can't believe I've been on it in 3 years.
Yeah,
You know,
flies by, fun or not.
it's been pretty good.
Yes.
It's been interesting, and learning experience.
If nobody has anything else, we'll adjourn at 11:04.
Did I miss something, anything exciting?
No?
You know, they're always a short meeting when